Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dykman, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hi again, race fans. Welcome in. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I be the voice, Dan Diker. That's the Penguin, Paul Riker. Down at the other end, that is Billy Doc Niles. And I do want to say that the burger that I had at Big Boar Barbecue this week was simply phenomenal. It was green olive and Swiss cheese.
They saw you coming and they started blocking the freezer.
Oh, man, that was some good stuff right there. Big show to come today. We've got to recap the entire night of destruction at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, which heavily attended. The action was just from one end to the other. It was simply outstanding. We're going to give you a video recap here in just a minute. And two of the biggest six-shooter drivers in the Midwest are going to join us on the program today. That's going to be Matt Moore and Dan Frye. First off, got some fantastic sponsors bringing you this week's program.
We got to thank our title sponsor, Big Boar Barbecue.
Yes.
Once again, Dan was there raiding their freezer earlier this week. Voted #1 in La Crosse County for restaurant and for catering, so check them out.
5 years in a row. Jerry made us know that this week. 5 straight years.
That's awesome. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, if you haven't noticed, temperatures are getting cooler, folks. Get that furnace checked out for Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Fansarena.com, there they are right there on the sleeve. Check them out. They throw us some really good threads. You could look really good in them, too. And, of course, our friends at JLL Collectibles and NorthstarCustoms.com. Could not do it with all of these partners here in 2020.
Big announcement this week that we're going to be doing the radio and TV show live Saturday of Oktoberfest at noon inside the tent of JLL Collectibles and North Star Customs. Big Boar Barbecue going to be dropping off some vittles as well, so we can't wait to have the big show back out at Fest. Let's get into the 29th annual Eva Destruction at La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway last weekend.
Night of Destruction.
Well, yeah, they changed it to Night of a couple of years ago. What a fantastic time that was. Action-packed from front to back. We brought the 6 shooters out. There was only race of the night. They're going to be back again to settle their championship Thursday at Fest. And Dan Frye and Joshua Zacharias, two familiar names from the Tomah Sparta Speedway this year, had one heck of a side-by-side battle for the first couple of laps of the 6-cylinder race at Eva Destruction, Night of Destruction. But I tell you what, you put Dan Frye in the pole of a race or anywhere near the front row, it's going to be a long night for everybody behind him.
That's cheating.
He took off and sorted himself out real quick. Joshua Zacharias tried to go through a lot of the lap traffic that was going on, but you'll see here with the last 2 laps, so that night belonged to the black number 18, Dan Frye, picking up the win.
I hear Fireball Lance is reconsidering next year after all the fireball it cost him.
I think we're going to talk to these guys about it. I think it cost them 13 shots this year.
Jeez.
It was either 12 or 13. Interesting other 6-shooter race we had was 3rd over the line.
Yes, normally we do 2nd over the line, but this time we did 3rd over the line. A little more strategy here to try to make that move at the right time to get the victory there. And one of the No Limits guys, the new guy, Pete Thompson, found his right move to become the 3rd over the line and claim the victory in that race. And while he finished 3rd, John Heavier cladding the novelty crown for his 2nd championship in 2 weeks.
A little more, just about the same amount of chaos right at the start-finish line, but still a heck of a finish there.
Looking at street stocks, had one heck of a teammate steel wall crash.
Yeah, John Hebner and Rob Stanfield, buddies on and off the track. They're going to take on the steel wall crash. You watch Hebner here as he center punches that bad boy, sends it over the wall. Pretty amazing shot, as you see it right here. Then Stanfield's going to take his turn. Thunderous crash from Stanfield. He's got parts and pieces flying everywhere. Still had his hazard lights on, quote unquote, I wanted to create a hazard. So those were 2 competitors in the steel wall crash this year.
One thing we had at Smash-A-Rama during the summer was the Big Air ATV group. Had a couple of ATVers come out, jumping ramps, landing on soft ramps, putting on one heck of an aerial display. They came back for an End of Destruction, and it was John Lanegrass and newcomer Nick Rogers. This was his first show. And as you see right here, these aerial acrobatics were just something beyond what we've ever seen at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, seeing them do them on ATVs, and normally you see them do them on motorcycles and freestyle motocross, but these guys are really putting on a really good show driving those ATVs.
Great to have them back one more time, and of course they went out twice, as did the monster trucks. Man, did Venom tear things up.
Oh yes, Denver Echternkamp from Quincy, Illinois, driving Venom, and Josh Baumgartner from Litchfield, Minnesota, with Mechanical Mischief. These two guys put on a great show, and I guess Denver wanted to make up for what happened at Smash-A-Rama, and boy, he did.
Yeah, Venom broke at Smash-A-Rama. So he came out and he made up for it. I mean, he really did. He got the fan vote for the best freestyle. Other thing is Josh Baumgartner, who just bought Mechanical Mischief a year and a half ago off of our friend at Rockford, Illinois, just put a brand new motor in that machine the night before Night of Destruction. So he kind of took it a little bit easy, but you really couldn't tell because he was out there just demolishing everything. Kind of a cool T-bone crash this year with Sparta's Brad Anderson. Did you see the front grill of that truck?
Yeah, unbelievable. A former driver out here at the Speedway, Brad Anderson, he had his own old camper. He wanted to destroy this bad boy. Brought a truck out, and here he is as he takes the first shot at it. Boom, right through the center. Is that cool? Not enough, says Anderson. He's going to come back, move it just a little bit one way, and bang, he's going to destroy some more. Not much left of that bad boy when he was done.
And it wasn't the Chuck show for the second time he came out. I made my own decision.
You did.
I took it to the fans. I said, you want him to do this again? And they did it again because 5,000 plus want to see him do it again. Another note on that, the motor from that camper was in Brad's truck.
Oh.
That was something else.
There we go.
We had our rollover competition again, and I tell you what, next year when we get stuntmen out to do the rollover competition, we need them to read the rules a little bit more. The part of this thing is you have to roll your car over. Les Stanfield went out, got a perfect 5 right off the bat, rolled his machine. John Burbach, well, he got 2 points in his second roll. The third driver out was
Dustin McCracken.
Dustin McCracken failed to even turn his car over, but still wrecked it. So then we're down to 2. Burbach, well, he couldn't roll it the second time out. So Les Stanfield, 1 roll, 3 rounds, wins it all.
Nice.
Outstanding.
That is tough to do, man.
How about the mono wheel ball of flame?
Oh, this was a very interesting thing. Hunter Howell from the Dells brought this 50-inch wide mono wheel, and he really impressed the crowd here.
It was just the seat, just the motor. There was no gyro rail in this thing whatsoever. It was totally balanced. 150cc motor, does about 50 miles per hour. It was, a lot of those have the gyro balancing in it. None of that whatsoever. Hollywood stuntman just came back from Hollywood to do the show here. He not only hit 1 wall of flames, but for the first time ever, he went through 2 of them.
Watch this video if you're pay attention here, man.
And it's a good thing you get to watch the video and not watch what I was doing when the pyrotechnics went off, because I jumped just a tad bit.
Geez, the last time we had pyrotechnics, it took out the lights, so that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, don't bring that one up, Chuck. That was years ago. Trailer race of destruction. We saw destruction all over the place. It was kind of sad to see some of the heavy hitters that lost their trailers early. John Clausen had the big cop thing out there again with days in the side of it. He broke. I think
Tyler Mitchell was another on.
Tyler Mitchell, and there was like 4 or 5 big campers that just couldn't compete because something broke down. But in the end, it was a van, and Toby Ravenham with the fan vote from front to back. He took John Burbach all the way down to the final votes. But that van was destroying everything in sight. Even destroyed his own van at the front end. And he takes home the prestigious Gargoyle Trophy.
Hard to beat Small. It's not hard to beat Smalls in these events because Smalls has got a pretty big fan base.
And, well, he also had a pretty big-sized Trailblazer out there. As a matter of fact, I think he had the only Trailblazer.
Didn't he race that earlier in the year, or is this a different one?
I think he had that Smash-A-Rama this year. I thought he raced that.
I think he did, yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for coming out. What a great crowd we had, and some great stuntmen. When we come back, we already mentioned one of our guests inside our La Crosse Speedway recap. We're going to find out more about Dan Frye and Matt Moore, 6-shooter extraordinaires in Midwestern Wisconsin. That's coming up next on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Lacrosse has spoken. Hi, Jerry here, and once again you voted us the best barbecue and caterer. This year you added ribs. I'm truly humbled by this honor. If you haven't tried our barbecue, I invite you to stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Find out why Lacrosse County consistently votes us #1. Ribs, pulled pork, brisket, and chicken, and so much more. We also cater groups large and small. Big Bore Barbecue, Highway 16, West Salem.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back, race fans. Seminoles Racing, KQEG TV. Dan Dyker, Bill Niles, and our guest, one of the best six-shooter drivers you're going to find in the Midwest. And you go to any racetrack that runs six-shooters. When we ran the six-shooter special at the Dells this year, is Matt Moore here, by the way? Here's some rumblings coming out of Madison. We had Madison six-shooter drivers come up to Tomah. Is this where Matt Moore runs? Well, who's the guy in the Black 8 team? Him and his teammate Dan Frye have made some serious noise when it comes to minivans and six-shooters, and we want to welcome Matt Moore to the program. Good to have you, man.
Good to be here.
How you been?
Not too bad.
Rich Bickle wanted me to pass along. He was watching a replay of Seminoles Racing when he was up here a couple of weeks ago. Who's the guy that wears the farmer overalls? He said, give that guy a beer. He just thought that was cool because you're like, he was watching Hobby Fest tape. You're the only one that wears overalls in the pits.
Yeah.
Man, what a phenomenal year you had here. The six-cylinder champion, you declared that after Night of Destruction last weekend. You're going to take home the championship. 11th in the minivans, running a part-time schedule this year, and 3rd at the Tomah Sparta Speedway. What a run. I mean, number one, how does it feel to know when you show up, you got the Steve Carlson thing going on. You show up a racetrack, people want to know if you're there.
Right, you just got to make sure you don't bring junk and always bring your A game and go out there and give it to your all. And if you get beat one week, you try harder the next week.
And of course, I'm going to bring this up. A couple years ago, Matt Moore's a cheater. Matt Moore's a cheater. It was all over social media. Didn't matter what was out there, Matt Moore's a cheater. His car was being teched left and right at Lacrosse, teched at Tomah left and right, and then finally said, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to give this cheating card to my best friend Dan Frye and let Dan Frye run it. I'm going to build myself a new car and see what happens. It's the same story. He's winning in it. You're winning in a different car. You've been teched left and right, but the cheater tag's gone.
Right. I guess we proved our point and it all worked out.
So how much does it frustrate you if you can't beat him in your old car?
It's all in fun. I mean, you can't win everything, and it's all about having fun and putting on the battle on and putting on the show. And if he's the guy that beats me, then so be it, I guess.
So talk about some of the competition you've seen come in and try and take you on, because they've been coming from everywhere. Madison, Jefferson, the Dells. They all want a piece of Matt Moore, and you seem to fend them off.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to hear that. I know it's Stephen Mueller, I think is how you say his name. He was coming from Madison, and we had some conversations, and he said, I feel like when I roll into Tomah Sparta Speedway that I'm running against the best six-cylinder cars that there are out there. And he said it's my goal every year or every night to come out and compete with you guys.
And his number 84 was not a slacker six-cylinder. That's a good car.
Yeah, no, he was getting really hard to pass towards the end of the year. So, I mean, that's a good thing for him.
You know, talk about, Tomah Sparta Speedway the last few years since Greg Oliver's taken over has just ramped it up. It's got better and better. Your division especially, with the addition of TACU coming on board as a title sponsor, your division is like one of the top divisions in the state and the envy of the state.
Yeah, I think we had, average of 20 cars a night. I mean, it was fun racing, and for the most part, it was clean.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is between Lacrosse. I mean, Lacrosse last year, 35 to 40 cars would show up on any given night, and you're talking a 25, 30 car feature. This year at Tomah, we had on average 2 new street stock or six-cylinder drivers every night over about a month-and-a-half span. So number one, that's the place to go race six-cylinders. But you don't like to run rough. You don't like to run people rough. You don't like when people do that against you. And I don't know how many times I heard you say this year, man, I love running this six-cylinder class because it's clean.
Right, yeah, the racing at Tomah is really clean. Lacrosse can get a little rougher, but it's just a smaller track, less room. Things are bound to happen a little more than they do at Tomah.
What does it take to build a championship? I mean, we're not going to ask for your secrets, but everybody.
Yes, we are.
But if you look at the rule book, a late model rule book is this. A street stock or a 6-cylinder rule book is this. Anybody can build a 6-cylinder according to the minute rules that we have. How do you get this done every year?
The first thing is you just got to pick the right car to start with. I mean, you got to get a good horsepower to weight ratio. I mean, and you just got to make sure it works. I mean, make sure your brakes work, put good tires on it, keep your suspension all up to spec, and that's just the gist of it. Just don't have junk. I mean, I know I said that before, but that's the bottom line. I mean,
and this is the second Malibu now, because the Malibu you had, Dan Frye has, and this was your second one this year. Which, by the way, I went out and my daughter bought a car from Morpholus Auto Sales in Tomah, and that was the first time I got to see the new paint job on Matt's car. Man, that was an impressive looking job this year.
Yeah, I have to thank my old man for that. I stole his tractor paint and we painted her Atlas Chalmers orange, and I think it turned out pretty cool.
So, what are the plans after this year? I mean, you know, a track championship at one, top 3 in the other one. Going to try and sweep them both next year. Any thoughts about maybe getting into a bigger car?
You know, moving up sounds nice on paper, but just availability of cars and the amount of cars that are out there, the car counts and stuff, it doesn't seem feasible to go from a division where I used to racing with 20 cars to racing with 5 cars. I mean, my plans for next year, obviously I won't be able to run street stocks at Lacrosse from winning the championship, but I hope I'm able to make the big shows at Tomah.
Well, you also had a key phrase earlier. It's all about having fun.
Right. It's all about having fun, and obviously.
We had a conversation with Matt last year where, I don't know if it was on the program or whether it was at the racetrack, and he said it flat out. I'm like, why do you keep coming back? I mean, you get your cars wrecked and you have bad nights, you have good nights. He said, I'm going to keep coming back till it's not fun. Well, obviously, this had to have been one of the funnest years you've had in a long time, because I would see you after every single race standing right below my announcing winner with a big smile on your face.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun this year. The car worked good. We didn't break too much stuff, and put together a good season.
And Billy wants to run your van next year.
And a Fireball.
And Fireball, yes.
Got to talk. I mean, Fireball Lanes in Bar and Grill, and it's Bowling Alley too, right?
Yes.
In Kendall. I think we put them on the map this year.
I've bowled there before.
They were just a sponsor that Dan and Matt had. And Matt had texted me way early in the race season and said, hey, make sure you remember our conversation. And I said, what was that? He said, for every feature win that he or Dan has, because there's on both the cars, you go to this place and your first Fireball shot is for free. Well, then they started tacking up wins left and right. Then I all of a sudden made it, well, then you owe me a shot because I can't go to Kendall. And at one point in time, we were caught up. I think there was 4. But then both of you guys just started winning all over the place. I think it was like 12 or 13. How many combined wins did you guys have?
I think you got to be close. I mean, I think I had 6 wins at Tomah, and I have 3 at Lacrosse.
There's 9.
I'm not sure on Dan. I know you got 2 at Lacrosse, and I think you had 3 or 4 at Tomah.
Let's not forget the substitute driver who filled in and took
yeah, Bobby Frisch.
Hey, we only got about a minute left here. Talk about the partners helping you out in 2020 on the car.
Well, Valvoline Express Care came on board. They have locations in Tomah and Lacrosse. So make sure you check them out for all your oil change needs. And then there's always Shaw's Auto Salvage, a great group of guys. More for Less Auto Sales in Tomah, and then Fireball Lanes Bar and Grill in Kendall. They do have the best burger in town.
I keep hearing that, and we're going to have to take them up on this when the racing season's done. You and I are going to have to head over there.
Oh, definitely.
And also, I know he sends, and he does this on Facebook too, because Matt is one of those positive drivers on Facebook. You always send kudos out to your dad.
Yes. My dad helps me a lot. Without him, I don't think the car would still be running, to be honest with you.
And he didn't mention Karina, so I'll mention Karina. Thank you, Karina. That's the girlfriend. Matt Moore, 6-cylinder extraordinaire in the Midwest. We're going to find out more about his teammate, who also made a huge splash at both tracks this year. That's Dan Frye, coming up next on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Well, you've done it again. Hi, Jerry here. You voted us the #1 barbecue and caterer for the 5th year in a row. This year you added ribs. Now, if you haven't tried our barbecue, let me personally invite you to try the best ribs, pulled pork, brisket, chicken, and so much more. Visit us on Highway 16 West Salem. Dine in or outside at one of our picnic tables. Drive-through and carry-out is always available. Big Boar Barbecue, a delicious mouthful.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back, race fans. Seminoles Racing, KQEG TV, proudly brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue. Rick Wilson and I went and had a lunch with the owners this week. Jerry and Donna. Donna was looking fantastic. I called her gorgeous, too. And the garlic mashed potatoes are still as good as they usually were.
How much more sucking up did you have to do to get a free meal?
Oh, no. Rick actually bought. Can you believe this?
Oh, there you go.
Last time Rick bought, I think I did a high school basketball game with him and Jesse probably about 10, 15 years ago in the winter, and he actually stopped at a gas station for subs. It was something. Six-cylinder day continues here on Seven Rivers Racing. Matt Moore and Dan Frye are awfully electric. Dan Frye's our next guest, and if you ever saw the 90 or the 18 show up at a racetrack, you knew you're going to have to come with your A game. Good to have you on, man.
Thanks.
First timer, too.
Yeah.
Man, what a season. Tomah Sparta Speedway, 6-cylinder champion, 3rd at La Crosse. You still have a shot at 2nd place during Oktoberfest. What a season. Just so much fun to call the both of you guys, and no matter what track we were at.
Yeah, that race Saturday night, I didn't like starting on the pole, but a win's a win, I guess.
He said that in the winner's circle, too. When I interviewed him down there, I'm like, so tell me about the race. He goes, man, I tell you what, he goes, I don't like starting on the pole. Obviously, he's a good driver. He knows that car. It was kind of interesting to see you and Joshua Zacharias, who I thought, if there was a most improved driver at Tomah this year in the 6-shooters, I think either he or Dustin McCracken should have got it. Because about midway through the season, when Zacharias picked up a feature win, he was making both you guys work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was working on his car quite a bit, but he was getting faster and faster every week. So it's always nice to help other drivers out, but you don't want to give them all your secrets.
You know, no. Yeah, we brought this up with Matt in the last segment. Talk about some of the competition you've seen coming in there, gunning for you guys, because let's face it, you know, Matt has set the standard, and you're not that far behind him in 6-cylinder racing here in western Wisconsin.
Yeah, I learned a lot from Matt, and if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be where I am, but I got to thank him a lot.
So let's go back to the conversation 2 years ago where Matt, and everybody watches this show, saw the Facebook post where they were calling him out left and right. Talk about Matt saying, guess what? I want you to drive this car to prove a point next year, and I'm going to build a new car and try to build another point, which both were successful.
Yeah, I mean, and I think people are getting a hint on it than the Malibus because they keep picking up every time someone's buying a new car, and it's always a Malibu. So, I mean,
and it used to be when the La Crosse Speedway first started 6-cylinders 5 years ago now?
5, 6. They were big, they were some of the big cars.
They were all Pontiacs. They were Grand Prix. They were Bonnevilles.
Yeah, Bonnevilles.
Almost every other car was a Pontiac. And then all of a sudden, the Malibus started making their presence known. And now, I should know this because Burbach has them, now it's the Acuras. That's like the 3 hottest 6-cylinders to race anywhere.
Yeah, but those Acuras, I don't know, a lot of places are banning them, so probably going to see more Malibus out there come next year.
And you guys have, what, 04s?
Yeah.
Well, the Malibus and the Grand Prix are same manufacturer, just a little bit of different looking body, but practically the same thing.
Right,
though.
right.
Every now and then, a couple of Chevy Montes come out.
Yeah.
I know Lockington had he had a good run towards the end of the year. I think he got a heat race win when he brought one of his new ones out. But it's just something about the Monte something about the Malibu that people just like that kind of a race car.
Well, I think they're just a little lighter and they handle corner better, and weight's a lot.
So talk about your championship at Tomah this year. This was not something you ran away with. There were at least 10 six-shooter drivers on any given night that could have won a feature out there.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars, and I mean, for 2 years back-to-back now, I probably will be out after this year.
You're going to be forced out. He's got back-to-back championships.
Would you consider, maybe coming and running his car next year at La Crosse and take a championship there?
Well, I think I'd keep my own car, but my stepson actually is going to probably jump in it next year. So he was in the high school this year.
Yep.
So
and go ahead and name drop him.
Yeah.
Dawson Richmond.
Dawson Richmond, yep. Nice job by him this year. We only got about a minute and a half left. Talk about some of the sponsors that have been helping you out here in 2020.
Well, Fireball, my cousin owns that place, and they're always giving us stuff to hand out. And I think I had a Fireball shot thing turned into a night light.
Yeah, we gave that away. Jay Raines won that last night racing.
He messaged me that night. And I got More for Less Auto and Shaw's.
What is Shaw's?
Shaw's Auto and Salvage.
Okay, all right.
Out of Warrens, Wisconsin. I tell you, it's been so much fun with you and Matt this year, not just your racing, but I really got to, I've known Matt for many, many years. You and I started getting to know each other the past couple of years. So much fun to promote what was going on with Fireball. Again, I think we put Fireball lanes on the map when it comes to the racing community. Just so much fun to call your races, man, and I really hope that both you guys are back running 6 cylinders next year.
Well, I'm going to try at least up in West Salem, but I don't know about Tomah.
Final question, what would an Oktoberfest feature mean to you?
Well, I won it last year.
Right.
And I said I was going to fight for it again this year, but we'll see. It all depends on where I start, traffic.
That'd be a heck of a burnout. Him winning the Fest feature, him winning the championship, a couple of burnouts on the front stretch, that'd be awesome.
Can you guys do burnouts in Malibus?
Oh, yeah, I did one in Tomah, but you got to park it up against the wall. But
that's right.
I had smoke rolling.
He still has the black mark sitting there on championship night when he parked it right to the left of the flag stand. Matt Moore and Dan Frye, some of the best six-shooter drivers you're going to see anywhere in the Midwest. If you need some advice, I would give these guys a call, and maybe they'll even share some Fireball with you. That's going to do it for the program. Next, we're going to be highlighting Oktoberfest next weekend after, Northern National Short Tracks, and of course we'll be out at Oktoberfest. For Dan Frye and Matt Moore, Billy Doc Niles, Paul Reichert, who's sleeping on the hallway.
And Jesse.
And Jesse, our producer, and radio man Dan Dyker. We'll see you next week on 7 Rivers Racing.
You've been watching 7 Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Reichert. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar Barbecue. Now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for watching 7 Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
La Crosse has spoken. Hi, Jerry here, and once again you voted us the best barbecue and caterer. This year you added ribs. I'm truly humbled by this honor. If you haven't tried our barbecue, I invite you to stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Find out why La Crosse County consistently votes us #1. Ribs, pulled pork, brisket, and chicken, and so much more. We also cater groups large and small. Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16, West Salem.